All right, here we go. Three, two, one. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Able Today with Mark and Sarah, bringing you all the latest and greatest in the disability space. Sarah, our friends in the rare disease community often say a lot of the same things that we say about not getting the awareness, the gravitas, the attention that community really deserves, and being a part of what we really promote in bringing all of these voices together and these people to the same conversations around health and wellness. I think it's so amazing to see some of those organizations doing that work.
Yeah, it's so true, Mark. What I've been so excited about since we launched our podcast earlier this year was the fact that we've had like Laura Castillo and Mary McDermott on our show, leaning in to their journey as caregivers, caregiving for children, for their children with rare conditions or rare diseases, and what we can do to take the voice of the rare disease community with the force of the disability movement, and combine them, because at the end of the day, and Mark, you know this all too well, we're navigating the same broken systems to ensure, that people with disabilities get the necessary supports, the right to health care, and then the right to save and earn money. It's definitely a journey, and we continue to face the same roadblocks and challenges as a community.
Yeah, it's interesting though. I think we live in this time where communication is so much better. So breaking the barriers as a collaborative is so much easier. So feeling that energy, like that pull to common ground, is incredible. And I think in the years to come, we'll see a lot more innovation, a lot better treatments, a lot better functionality in society, right? I was having this conversation with somebody about the ADA, a guy who was injured in '89. He was like, dude, imagine what it was like, before '89. He was like, as a um, as a as a young white man being introduced to like segregation, basically, as he described it. And I had never thought about it that way. Um, having to go through the back door, through the kitchen of a restaurant, not having a bathroom, not having a water fountain. I was like amazed at that. But we all kind of experience it in that way. And so fast forward to now, a lot of improvements have been made, and I think we are set to make as twice as many in half the time. So
Well, and yeah, you kind of have to look backward to look forward. We talk a lot about like the past, present, and future of ABLE, past, present, future of structural accessibility,
yeah.
but then past, present, and future of where we're going to modernize these outdated laws that are holding people back. I mean, ABLE is a perfect example of us, creating a new proactive financial tool
Yeah.
to allow people to maintain their Medicaid and be able to save for the future. I think, Mark, what it's really going to come down to is having this next generation of disability advocates like Avery Roberts and Kelly Berger, who we're going to bring on here momentarily, to help us transform that system and think about it outside of the box.
Yeah, again, I love the energy. So, you want to introduce our guest?
Yes. So we have Kelly and Avery. They are young leaders, young people living with congenital muscular dystrophy, or CMD. They really bring a wealth of knowledge, and we're excited, Mark, to be teaming up with them a little bit more, and some of the activities and some of the programming that they have coming up. Specifically, they had reached out to you and me about participating in their financial planning with a disability webinar series
Yeah.
that's coming up this Saturday. Definitely want to plug that throughout this episode. And just really excited to have them on sharing their personal stories and how they started working at CMD and what they're doing to transform and modernize the system that you and I constantly talk about.
Well, with no further ado, let's bring them on.
Welcome, Kelly and Avery.
Kelly and Avery, welcome to the Able Today show. We're really excited to have you on. We haven't really done a huge amount of outreach with the rare disease community, and this is something that is definitely on has been on our priority list this year. So I'm really glad that you all were able to join us today. So I definitely have some questions about Cure CMD, but I wanted to let you know that the three of us have something in common: motorized wheelchairs and trying to navigate our chairs in a world not built for us. I don't know if y'all have visited New Orleans, but it is not the most accessibly friendly city, and I've done an immense amount of work pushing the city forward. But as you know, the marathon continues, and we got to keep rolling. But to illustrate the point, I started a little show that we've called Roll With Me, in which able-bodied people like elected officials, community leaders, and others join me in wheelchairs to get a taste of what it's like to be in a wheelchair. All of them have responded very positively, most of them getting a huge dose of a very visceral experience, especially in the New Orleans heat, on some nice bumpy New Orleans sidewalks. So just keep that in mind if you ever want to give somebody some a quick dose of empathy. But earlier this year, you two were a part of a piece from Rare Revolution magazine where you traveled around NYC in your chairs to show the public what it's like trying to get around in public spaces where stairs, curbs, and other barriers get in the way. Can you tell us about that experience? Kelly, you want to go first?
Sure, yeah. It was such a pleasure to visit the big city, and it's always super exciting and thrilling. And obviously, being a realtor just adds another element to things to try to figure out. How do I get on sidewalks? Where are the curb cuts that actually work? Cobblestones, no curb cuts. It was just quite a challenge. And obviously, if people see one wheelchair, they're a little thrown off or like, oh, how are they doing this? But then when I was with Avery, being another wheelchair user, it was just definitely quite the spectacle of the two power wheelchairs trying to navigate around. So it was definitely a really positive thing. I think that we turned a lot of heads and definitely showed people that we want to be active, contributing members of society. That we want to still be out and about and go do things that we want to do.
Whew, I know all about that. Avery, is that your take too?
Yeah, of course. And just to add on to that, I was born and raised in New York, so being a part of the entertainment industry as a dancer as well, NYC is really my second home. And so to be able to experience it through Kelly's eyes as someone who is not necessarily from New York was such an incredible experience and um, just definitely memories that we both hold with each other, especially just I'm sure we all know a long distance friendship, not being able to see each other in person all the time, besides the rare disease events that we both participate in, being able to experience that with her and like she said turn heads and we were able to get with a photographer that we have created a relationship with, Maddie Graves, and document our time and capture those moments, and really hopefully use them for good and with a purpose, and we're just so grateful that we had that time together.
Sounds exactly like my experience,
I
especially
like
my
that.
last time in New York. Go ahead, Sarah.
No, I was going to say, Mark, I like that expression. Let's turn some heads. That's real. That's what we were really trying to do at Able today with the work that we're doing to not just, talk the talk, but walk the walk. I like that expression, Avery. I actually just helped host a 500-person rare disease event. Avery, Kelly, you probably have heard of Global Genes. We just hosted that in my hometown of Kansas City last Thursday. So it was really fun to be able to showcase some of our rare disease regional assets in front of this global rare disease community. So we'll have to get you to Kansas one of these days. So we're really excited about your upcoming webinar. Mark and I will be participating with you here in a couple of Saturdays. But For Cure CMD, you both serve as the organization's coordinators of outreach and engagement. And your work in that article really gets to the heart of engaging the public on all the work that we do. I've had the honor to work across, as I mentioned, the rare disease and muscular dystrophy community for a long time. But I'm really interested in hearing what are some of your efforts in this space. Can you talk to our listeners a little bit about your programming and the outreach that you're kind of doing day in and day out?
Yeah, of course. We like to say that Cure CMD really has two sides to it. The research side, we're lucky enough to have a large clinical and research community globally that we really rely on and are, driving us forward towards treatments. As to date, there is no treatment or cure for CMD. Um, and so that's one side of Cure CMD, and the other side is community, and that's kind of where Kelly and I come in. We spearhead a lot of our community outreach and engagement programming, a lot of our educational and informative initiatives and resources, like the webinar series that you had mentioned. We have a lot of informative resource pages, and really just how can we connect the community, especially our global community that are located, all throughout the country, all throughout the world. Um, and so we also know as people who are CMD affected individuals ourselves, just the value of connection as well as community. And so being able to bring our personal experiences to all that we do is something that we certainly don't take for granted, as well as being able to adapt to other people's opinions in the community as since we are an ultra rare community, we're pretty small, though we're not at the same time. Like we always say, although we're classified as rare, we're not so rare as 300 million people worldwide living with rare diseases. But um, being able to bring our experiences to all that we do, and just ensuring that the needs are being met of our community authentically, and ensuring that although really just the mission of Cure CMD, supporting the community and empowering the lives of those living with CMD is something that Kelly and I really strive to do. And it's also just rewarding in and of itself, being able to, in a way, give back to our community, as well as ensuring that people have access to those resources and that support that we wish we had when we were first diagnosed. Um and yeah.
Love it.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Sarah and I do so much work, and a large body of just anything disability advocacy is community building, but there's no value that you can put on it, right? There's no value to finding your tribe, to finding people that can relate, to just having the support and those shoulders of people that'll like you and understand what you're going through. Um, on that, that finding your community, your tribe. I remember what it was like when I found others like me, and it made a huge difference. It gave me hope, but it also gave me a sense of purpose and almost like a light in the darkness. Can you talk to us about what it's like when a fellow person with CMD finds out about you and personally meets you? Any particular stories you'd like to share? Kelly, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I would say our favorite part about what we do is connection. Like we love connecting directly, like we have peer to peer support where we kind of connect one person with their diagnosis to someone similar to them, and getting able to like start that friendship and have them really just like bond and learn and grow together and just like form a lasting friend is probably our favorite part, to see those new connections happen. I know I definitely get so much joy out of, connecting people from around the world too, like different countries, states, wherever it may be. It's just super rewarding to get to see those friendships blossom and find someone just like them that they resonate with and can talk to, and kind of help them with every season of life and their journey. So that's definitely a super rewarding thing for us.
Avery, any stories that stand out to you?
I don't know if one necessarily stands out of all of them, but just being able to witness those, I feel like they're kind of like aha moments. A light bulb kind of goes off for them of, um, look, there's a community out there, and I finally found them, and just kind of what, in a way, it's kind of looking inside themselves of what does the future hold for me, and before then it was kind of like I didn't know what the future held for me, and just being able to witness those experiences not only through their eyes but also just Kelly and I being able to be on that other side, and being able to experience that day in and day out 24/7, being able to connect people and not only just subtype wise or diagnosis wise but also just interests and that kind of stuff is it's just it has such a profound impact not only on ourselves but on the individuals and the families, and it's such an honor and privilege to witness, um, every day. Again, it's just going back to the power of community and connection like we've said.
Couldn't agree
Yeah, it's
more.
those right, Mark, it's those like aha moments. And when Kelly, you and Avery reached out about your upcoming webinar and doing a webinar and partnering together on Able accounts, I feel like you all can really help us. We've been trying through Able today to do more of those aha moments to bridge the rare disease and the disability communities together as one, because we know we're all navigating the same systems. And, especially as you get into adulthood, and Mark and I have talked about this a lot, the system is complex, it's outdated, it's archaic, and it's bureaucratic. And we really are trying to strive to make Able accounts, a very seamless process for the end user, for the individual who should be able to save their own money. Kind of along the lines of those aha moments, I know you all have accomplished a lot since 2008 when you were founded. Can you maybe talk about some of those big wins with our audience? I know we can always learn, right, Mark, from other organizations and other advocates.
Absolutely.
I can,
Kelly,
yeah, I'll take it the first one here. Yeah, I would just say, when, like you mentioned, one of our really core values is research. We've been able to fund over $4 million in research grants. We launched 2 clinical trials and also support natural history studies in 5 of the primary subtypes of CMD. We also have a registry called the Congenital Muscular Disease International Registry, where we have over 3,500 participants worldwide, where we collect data to try to match with different researchers and help start for trials in that way. And then we also host a biannual scientific and family conference where stakeholders in the CMD community, researchers, clinicians, families, all get together and learn. And it's just a great fun weekend conference where we talk about our accomplishments and again connect people. So, and I'll let Avery handle some of the other things we've done.
No, SciFam is attended by more than 500 stakeholders, which is such a incredible accomplishment, especially not only from like the clinical side, but being able to know that we are connecting that many, individuals and families and continue to do so year after year. We also host it in all different cities across the country to ensure that it's made accessible to our community, or to our global community. And like Kelly said, it's just a time to, get all the latest updates on research, as well as being able to connect in person with others traveling along similar journeys as us. But just have Cure CMD has certainly met so many unmet needs for those living with CMD. Just back then, I mean, there was such little research. There were no care guidelines, or even if there were, they're still really outdated. in and of itself, and we're actively working to update those to ensure that people are getting, that quality care that they need and deserve. But being able to support our families to ensure that every individual has a chance at a successful future, um, is something that's really our mission and what we strive to do. And we've funded $4 million in research, and we're looking forward to the future of continuing to support research, support more families and individuals, and of course keeping the affected the affected community's voice at the heart of everything we do. Um, and we're just really optimistic for the future and are looking forward to seeing what it holds for us.
Well, I love that. As a fellow, as a founder of an organization whose mission is really to increase the quality of life for people, and our vision is to transform hope into action. You all are definitely doing that. Um, and it's funny too, because you reached out to us about the financial planning with a disability webinar coming out, and I think now is a great time for us to plug that. You want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. So it's October 19th at 1 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to just dive into how to plan financials when you live with a disability. It's very complex system to navigate, and we want to definitely take you through steps on how to save without penalties, how to qualify for different programs and assistance, and just kind of clarify this. Is it's really it shouldn't be that hard to try to get ahead financially when you live with a disability, but it is a really hard thing to navigate. So we just definitely are excited to inform those people to make the most and try to get ahead financially.
Love it.
We're so excited. We're so honored that you reached out to us, and we wanted to reciprocate by having you all on our podcast to talk a little bit more about what you all do and hopefully reach more individuals from your community, but also others outside your community that can, I think, benefit from the incredible work that you're doing.
Yeah, of course. We're so grateful that you had us on, and thank you for having us.
Yeah. Mark, I'm going to turn it back over to you to take us home here.
Yeah, I mean, ladies, this has been great, Avery and Kelly, and it's been a pleasure to meet you. But one of the things that we always like to incorporate into this podcast is talking about able accounts and why they are so great. So, what is the best thing about able accounts to you, Kelly? Let's start with you.
Great. I would say it's definitely having the ability to save without penalties. It's an avenue that lets you continue to earn and not jeopardize your qualifications for any state or community programs that you may have or be receiving to help with your daily activities of life. So, just the ability to save and try to get ahead and not be penalized. That's probably my favorite thing about it.
That's certainly what we tell everybody. Avery, what about you? What's the best thing about able accounts to you?
I mean, I would say, just kind of adding on to what Kelly had said, that really the significance that comes from able accounts is allowing individuals to accumulate more than the asset limit set, without losing, those federally funded benefits. There is some legislation out there, the SSI Savings Penalty Elimination Act, that when passed, hopefully when it's passed, it will ensure that no one be punished for working, getting a promotion, or even saving for the future. Unfortunately, there are people who live in disability poverty due to these asset limits, and just able accounts ensure that we can kind of look further than that, which is so valuable with living our lives. Unfortunately, living with a disability is a pretty expensive and pricey life to live, but getting being able to um, kind of live without having to think about if I'm going to be able to provide necessities for my family, or prepare for the future, is so valuable. And I would say that's kind of the significance of ABLE to me.
Love it. I think, Sarah, I think they took the page right out of our book.
I was going to say A pluses all the way around. I mean, what a great PSA for the next individual to open up their ABLE account.
Right. Well, everybody, you heard it here first. If you or a loved one has a disability and are on those means tested benefits, ABLE account is definitely a solution for you to continue to save and accumulate wealth. But with that said, I want to thank everybody for listening today. And please catch us on the next episode of ABLE Today. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks, Avery. Thanks, Kelly.